Welcome, welcome. And my name is Mr. Orlusky, and I am the Director of Bands at the MPVA Meyerland Middle School. And it is my pleasure for you to join this Band Parents Night. Of course, my position really means nothing if I don't have the support from the next individual that I'm going to pass over to and give her a chance to introduce herself. If she's on, I think she switched computers quick. I think she's on.
Good afternoon. Good evening, you all. I'm here. I'm just trying to switch from one computer to the next with a camera. So I'm transferring devices real quick.
Okay. All right, no worries. So what we got going on is Miss Jordan and myself are going to be passing back and forth and going through. Well, let's just jump right into the slides, and it will say what we need to cover. All right, and then of course we want to give a lot of time at the end for any questions and so on and so forth. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is not 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I apologize. So this should be pretty quick. And we want to get to that last one where it says contact page and questions. Because again, all of you that are joining us for this session took your time out of your evening to join us, and we want to be able to answer any of your specific questions at the end. So we will cover what we feel is necessary and important, and then get to those questions at the end. All right. So the number one is, where are we going to locate our files for this band program and important videos? Number two is our master calendar review, which is subject to change, but at least you can get an idea of what is coming this following school year. And then number two, again, highlights from our band handbook. That is a big bulk of this presentation, where Miss Jordan and I are going to kind of play hot potato and go through briefly and hit a lot of different points that covers really what we do in band and what is important in band for your child to be successful. And then number three is the materials needed for band. A lot of new parents are joining us this year, and we need to make sure that our new students are set up correctly, as well as our returning students might need to know how to get some, extra stuff or things that they might have, not known about. So materials are tremendously important in band because there are a lot of them. And then finally, the contact page and questions. All right. So the first one is, where's our band information? This is it right here, the Meyerland PVA band site. It is a new rebooted site, so we don't have as many subscribers right now. It says 204 there, but go ahead and get the chance to, what the YouTubers say, smash that subscribe button and check out all the different videos that we have to offer. There is a lot ranging from performances to important files that the students need to have. We try to put up things that are for the entire program. So like fingering charts for their instruments, for example, that folder might be within this site because it covers everybody in the band program. If there's something specific to a certain class, then usually Miss Jordan and I will put it in the HISD hub system. But for the most part, this is a great way to file important information as well as showcase the program, because there are performances. Even though last year we did a digital performance, it was fantastic. All right, so we're going to jump into our band handbook, and as you can see, it says introduction. Anything in pink is mainly going to be over to Miss Jordan, and then when it gets to blue, she'll pass it back to me. So Miss Jordan, are you ready?
Yes. Good evening again. I'm Ms. Jordan. I'm the assistant band director here at Meyerland PVA Middle School. And this introduction: students will develop many different character traits in band. Consistent practice and parent support is vital for success in band. So just briefly elaborating upon that, is that this is a developmental organization. You will see many facets of your child's character be developed throughout their time with us. And definitely all participation at home as well as in class is vital to your students' success within this program, as well as your support.
Okay, conduct tracker. So basically what we have here is discipline and participation and building a sense of community within the classroom is key to their success to learn. And that's why classroom fluency is the flow of how Miss Jordan and I teach within the classroom. So what we try to do to the best of our ability is seeking positive reinforcements. There's a lot of things that we can pinpoint what is wrong with a student's playing because, well, we've been playing for a bunch of decades, and we want to give as much feedback as possible, but that feedback has to be constructive, not destructive. And so we want to track students' behavior, and this tracking system is usually on the front conductor's podium, and then it corresponds to next to the whiteboard. But in general, classroom fluency is recognizing the efforts and participation of what your children do in the classroom. All right, go ahead.
Attendance. Performance-based class, unexcused missed performances, rehearsals will impact students' grades. Everyone is needed. After 2 unexcused absences, a student is removed from performance ensemble. The student must be there. And performances, they cannot really be made up. It happened once it happens, once a performance happens, once a rehearsal happens, that particular performance or rehearsal will never happen again. So this is all about performance and participation, and that what makes it very different from a English class or a math class. Performance, participation, your presence being there. Your child is vital. They're significant. We actually need them there. The ensemble has gotten used to their sound, so if they're missing on a particular day, that's going to have an impact upon the ensemble. Unexcused misses. There was no communication from the student as well as the parent about the child missing a performance or rehearsal. That definitely will impact their grade, and that it can be found broken down in the handbook. And feel free to ask detailed questions about that later. And then 2 unexcused absences. That student, they're still a class member, they're still an organization member, but as far as being a part of the performance ensemble that will get on stage, that now that removal is very much a possibility.
Okay, right on. Teaching and learning. So what we have here is rote learning versus note learning. And what that means is that typically when students are quite young and they start listening to music and learning music, let's say in elementary school, you would have, if you can remember back, your elementary music teacher singing a certain song, and then you would listen and then repeat back that song. That is called rote learning, where you listen to it and then you repeat it back. And at times, Miss Jordan and I do demonstrate the instruments, of course, and we may use rote learning, but because the students are older in middle school, we gear a little bit more towards note learning because they are more independent, they are more mature, and ultimately we want them to be able to pick up a piece of music by themselves and be able to decode it and create music on their instrument as an extension of themselves. And that's the difference between rote and note, all right, learning. So mastery, not perfection. A lot of times, practice makes perfect, and that's been around for a long time as well. Well, I'm not really in agreement of that because perfection can sometimes be subjective. And so while something to one person's perfect, to another, it's not. So what we try to do to our best of our ability is have the students master the certain content skills that we're teaching and it's all about progress. So practice makes progress. And as you see on the bottom here, musical levels and practice tips. These are just like one practice. This is just an example from our YouTube site, a playlist that focuses in on techniques for students to use within their practice session. So Ms. Jordan and I really try to give as much tools as possible. So again, they can be successful on an independent level because eventually they'll go on to high school and then move on throughout their musical career. Okay, grading breakdown. So this can be subject to change because we always get updates about certain categories that the school wants us to, be fair and weight it. But as you can see, classwork and participation in class is 10%, and then homework is 30. Homework is such a big one, as well as tests, but homework is so important because a later slide we'll talk about practicing in general, home practice, but our weekly electronic practice records is something that the students, returning students at least, know very well, that they're always due on Friday. We do accept them over the weekend. And personally, and I think I can speak for Miss Jordan here, that it's much easier for the electronic practice records as opposed to the paper ones. I don't know how many trees we had to cut down to pass out like 250 papers each week. So as quizzes, there's quizzes 10%, and then projects, there are, and then concerts, as Miss Jordan said, concerts are extremely important. As when we get to the master calendar, you'll see that there are two main performances, one in the winter and one in the spring, but there are more sprinkled throughout the year depending on the ensemble. And then the final one on the projects, 20%. Students will get the chance to use a lot of different software programs. Obviously, we are adapting this new method of using more technology in every class. I mean, the whole education system is adopting this method. So some programs that we've used is, for example, Flipgrid. Smart Music is going to be initiated this year within this program. We used it before in the past. Sight Reading Factory and different programs like that. All right. Academic eligibility. Go ahead, Ms. Jordan.
Academic eligibility. Maintain at least a grade of a 70 to meet UIL/extracurricular activities. Ineligible for 3 weeks can earn to regain eligibility, can still perform though in major concerts. So we are a UIL sanctioned organization. Therefore, when we are doing anything that is considered a UIL activity, we must follow UIL guidelines. So the student must have a 70 to even leave the campus and go on the bus and participate in these activities. So we will be doing grade checks. We will be talking to the students about what their grades are in the other classes as well as in our own class, so that once again, they're eligible and their attendance is so that they're in attendance, they're present, they're playing and able to perform.
Yeah, good point. We do check other classes. We do check across the board. Home practice. I just mentioned this in the previous slide before Ms. Jordan spoke. This is vital to the success. Practice will promote success. It is critical. It will develop new habits. However, if you don't practice correctly, it will develop bad habits too. Picking a quiet location is critical. I know that with the learning virtually last year, sometimes some students did try to participate, and then there would be a lot of background noise. And I know most of the students are back in the school, but when that time happens for them to practice, they need to really find a location in their home in order for them to focus and for them to get meaningful practice on their instrument. I mean, I personally practice in the closet. I have a closet where I can walk in and it absorbs a lot of the sound, and I just practice in there. Set goals, of course, and Ms. Jordan and I will help your child know what to target. Take your time and avoid wasting time. Yeah, it's kind of like going to the gym. I mean, if you go to the gym, keep doing the same exercises, and then you're not really targeting the certain muscles to get a meaningful result, then you're kind of wasting your time. So we do want to see the results. The students want to see the results, and results are important, but the journey is also very important too. Ask for help if needed, and strive for, again, strive for mastery. Okay, so the last thing I'll just mention here for practice is that your support and your understanding on the parent side. Uh, Speaking as a parent, we have my daughter plays cello. We have a schedule for her, and she has a targeted time when she can practice at home. And so maybe setting a schedule or whatever is going to work, but just have that conversation when you can with your child, and set up a time for that. All right, Mr. Warren.
Instrument storage and identification. This is very important. Instrument cases, their instrument case has to have their name and contact information on it. This is very important because if it is a situation where you need to come and pick up the child's instrument, we cannot just allow you to come in and grab an instrument, and it may belong to another student, or it may in fact belong to HISD and may not have been checked out to you. So the labeling of the instruments, it is vital, because if the instrument is not labeled, especially when it is not an HISD owned instrument, and if it's one that you're trying to come pick up, now we need the serial number. We're going to need the model number, and we need that paperwork, and that is going to be sometimes very hard for you to acquire. So please send once the student starts bringing their instruments home to school from home, make sure that there's a tag with the contact information on there. Percussionists also should have labels on their bags as well. And it's as simple as getting a luggage tag, or if it's a personally owned instrument that you're not renting, feel free to take a paint pen and write all over the case that belongs to you. Storage is available for instruments at our school, but the instruments are meant to go home nightly. The only instruments that we're trying to work something out for is the tuba. Right now we're dealing with three tubas in the entire program, and so we would love to have them keep one at home and keep one at the school. That way they don't have to travel back and forth, but that's not set up yet. So until that's set up, then yes, they should be taking it home. No instrument should be left overnight, and that's for two reasons. First of all, if it's there at the school, the student is not practicing. And then the second one is also just safety. If it's not at the school, then it can't be tampered with, it can't be messed with, any of that kind of stuff. So those instruments have to go home every day.
Okay, thank you. And uniforms. This is straightforward. All black clothes, and black dress shirt, black slacks, black belt, black socks, black dress shoes. If we have any specific event that we have, maybe a band t-shirt, which we started to sell last year, and then there'll be more conversations at a different time for that. But typically our winter concert, spring concert, any official event is all black. Miss Jordan, do you want to add anything about female wear?
I just wanted to make sure we don't want skirts or dress because the student is sitting on the stage, and the posture that is required is the legs are shoulder width apart. So I don't really like to see skirts and dresses. But if that is something that is must, please send me an email, and I need to see it before the student comes, or make sure that it is what they consider T-length at the ankle. That would be appropriate. Other than that, slacks are the best bet.
All right, thank you. Okay, contests. Go ahead, Miss Jordan.
Yes. Okay, so the contests that we're usually involved in are TMEA All Region, which is Texas Music Educators Association All Region audition process, as well as their bands when our student make it, the HISD All City Bands, UIL Solo and Ensemble Contest, UIL Concert and Sight Reading Contest. So all region, normally we're a part of Region 23, which is comprised of HISD schools, A-League schools, and KD schools. And our students would go and audition individually based on their scales, the way they play assigned scales and 2 assigned pieces. And they would compete for a spot in the all region band program. And it is very illustrious thing to be chosen and to make it into those band programs. This year we have opted out for safety concerns due to the surge in COVID, but in the future that is a norm. That is something that we always do, and we want as many students to participate. There is an entry fee. We always send that information out. So this ties into practice. You should hear your students practicing on those things and then expect to get that information from them annually. HISD is a preliminary to region, and it is just for students within our district. And we work on the same repertoire. It's the same process. You're auditioning to be a part of the HISD All City Band program. It's on a Saturday. We'll talk about that when we get to the calendar. And if the student is chosen, once again, it's a very thing of high esteem. It's a great achievement for the student. UIL Solo and Ensemble Contest this year, it is going to be in February. You'll see that on the calendar. The student will work on a solo. The solos come in 3 classes, class 1, class 2, and a class 3. They can win a medal for this. One would yield if they play a class 1 solo to the at superior level, they can get a gold medal. If they play a class 2 solo at the superior level, they can get a silver medal. And if they play a class 3 solo at the superior level, they can get a bronze medal. Okay? And that's solo as well as ensemble, so they can also play along with 2 or more people. UIL Concert and Sight Reading. That is for the entire ensembles, and we'll talk more about all the ensembles that we have later on. But Mr. Olaski's ensembles, my ensembles, we actually go to Katie for evaluation, and it is done by the region, and it is a part of the TMA UIL system, and we are judged. What we do on the concert stage, we're playing 3 pieces, and then the sight reading room, we will get a piece of music that we have never seen before. The conductors have never seen it before, the students have never seen it before, and we will teach it to the ensemble in about a 10-minute span, and then they will play, and we will be judged and receive a rating. This is our star.
Yeah, well said. That's our star. It has great importance. I just want to reiterate that we're not going to the all region this year, the first one, but we are planned to go to the all city, the bottom 3. The bottom 3, okay? All city, solo and ensemble, and UIL concert. Okay, is it? Oh, there we go. Okay, seating rank and auditions. So initial seating ranks are earned. Seating ranks usually occur for the experience ensembles. Like Ms. Jordan said, you will see our specific ensembles and what those names are and what their tier level is within our program. But seating ranks are for the experience ensembles. Although feedback is provided, working as a team, capitalized there, is the most important to a collaborative to have a collaborative experience and to be successful. So their competition. The thing is on the front end, although competition could be a good thing, the thing is it also could be a negative thing. So I personally am not one that likes competition. However, I recognize it as I recognize the importance of it, and I do it. And so at the end of the day, the students need to be able to respect the person that is sitting next to them in order for them to work together to make the best possible musical experience. And that's my attitude, and I believe Ms. Jordan's on board as well, as we've talked a lot about this. So handling money, completely different area. Go ahead, Miss Jordan.
Okay, so school pay, it's I please use school pay. We do not want to handle any money, though the program does need funding. So we're asking you to use school pay, even if you don't have credit cards and debit cards on the regular. Please load the amount that you want to use and put it on a prepaid gift card and use it that way. It is the recommended method of how to pay school fees. The link can be found on the Maryland website, and prepaid Visa is an option. And it prepaid Visa, prepaid MasterCard, whatever, prepaid American Express, those are all options that you can use.
All right, thank you. Okay, one more for you. Magnet program expectations.
Okay, so for our magnet students, first of all, I do want to say this is a magnet program. Whether your student is an elective student or a magnet student, we're going above and beyond. So our expectations are above and beyond, and the teaching that we're going to do is above and beyond because that is the culture of this organization. Expectations for students that are truly magnet students are they must have a 75 or higher in their non-magnet classes. They must maintain an 80 or higher in their magnet classes, and they must maintain regular attendance. All of these things, if they are not maintained, can put them in the position of being put on a growth plan. And a growth plan is not something that we're trying to get the student removed from the school, but it can actually lead to that if it becomes an issue for too long. Okay, and yeah, I'll leave it at that for right now.
All right, right on. Thank you. And all right, so we're going into the different ensembles, and I believe we're still in the band handbook. Yeah, okay, we're still in the band handbook. We just wanted to show it within this graphic here. So as you can see, there are we have the tier system to show the development of the student. Okay, so it's not like a ladder where you have, your top bands and then your middle bands and then the lowest bands. So I think that it's better to see it as a circle that is always expanding. So in the middle, you see that our beginning bands named Foundation Band or our focused beginner classes is the tier 4 band or the tier 4 group. So they're just starting out on their instruments, most of them, and they are developing their ears, developing their skills to facilitate the instrument and start to refine how to read music, so on and so forth. So after that experience, they could go into concert band or they could go into any of the symphonic band or honors band. So it's always possible to jump a tier, but the next tier would be concert band, and this is typically led by Miss Jordan, while the foundation band is typically led by me in the beginner classes. So the concert band, what we do there is the repertoire and the music starts to become more challenging. The demand of the instrument is more. We expect the student to be able to do a lot of those basic skills, so we can expand their musical vocabulary and their palette for different genres of music and so on and so forth. So that continues into symphonic band, and symphonic band is typically led by Miss Jordan as well. And this band is a UIL contest band, which means that they do go to that UIL and sight reading contest. And again, this is even a more developed band. Miss Jordan Miss Jordan, do you want to comment on symphonic band?
The students are usually intermediate to early advanced students. So the pacing is very quick. It's very fast, and the expectation is higher at that point. We're at this point, when the student is made it into that program, the basics and fundamentals are very solid. So note recognition, note value, rhythmic interpretation, that's all there. That was taken care of in their beginner band and concert band process, and now we're trying to be as musical as possible.
And then that continues. It's very similar in the honors band, which is typically led by and conducted by me. But let me add that all of these circles here, Miss Jordan and I flip flop and work together, as these are a lot of team taught. Okay. These other ones that are on the edges, those are a little bit more specific and not team taught. Those are specific areas that Miss Jordan might take or I might take. So honors band, again, the pace is very quick and lots of reading music, and it's a great experience. I have a lot of fun with them. Percussion ensemble is a tier 4, but it really could be mixed with could be a mixed group. And so this is typically led by Miss Jordan. She teaches this by herself. And do you want to comment on that, Miss Jordan?
Yes. As Mr. Olofsky said, this is a mixed level group. We do have a lot of beginners there, but because we have so many percussionists, most of the time, even some of our intermediate and advanced students are going to overflow in there, because the ensembles that you see before you can only handle so many percussionists. And this it's for the family. It's to learn all the instruments in the family. So we don't focus at this school on just one particular drum. We're going to learn the entire family, which would be the keyboard family, as well as the drum family, as well as the auxiliary family that falls within the percussion spectrum.
Okay, and then finally, the extension areas, there's a main group and then a focus group. So the main group has its own period, and Miss Jordan leads that class for jazz band. And then the focus group is outside of our regular class schedule. And right now, the clarinet choir is not active. My hope, being a clarinetist myself, is to get this going in the second semester. That is my hope, to get this going in the second semester. So. Okay, social media release and contract. So what happens is, as an assignment in the first cycle, students need to have acknowledgement of the band handbook. And in that acknowledgement is understanding that your students may be shared publicly online. Now, speaking as a parent now, I have 2 daughters. One that is 2 years old and the other one's 8.5. The 8.5 one loves to make private TikTok videos and has her own YouTube channel, but she creates and edits a lot of videos that are like cartoons. And although those might be public, it doesn't show her specifically. And this is an arrangement that I have with my wife, and we're comfortable with that. Now I have to put on the educator hat. All right, and not the parent one. So as an educator, the thing is performances as an entire band, if they perform and certain students are not comfortable being shown, or parents are not comfortable having their children be shown, which again is understandable, then the entire video can be sacrificed and not be shown. So this is something that educationally and musically is explained in more detail in the band handbook, but this is our hope for parents to understand that it is in the vein of educational purpose. And some students' recordings will be also visual to classroom students within Flipgrid. So Flipgrid is used across many classes and across HISD. So what Flipgrid is essentially is it's a collection of videos in a class. Other students might be able to see that student. However, let's say I create a test and I only want it to be private. Then if they record and they submit an assignment, then that recording could be private. So it depends on the assignment. And okay, what materials are needed? So we have right there on the top, the main materials is going to be they're going to be the band binder, which is any sort of 1-inch binder to organize the music that you see below. I'll mention that in a moment, because Miss Jordan and I still copy when we can, and then it can be organized. And we'll give it to your child, and then they could be organized in that binder. Of course, a pencil. Everybody gets a Chromebook this year. That's fantastic. It's still getting organized right now. And then the Measures of Success textbook, that is on our materials list. The materials list is found on the YouTube site. which is at the beginning of this presentation, Maryland PVA Band. What this textbook really focuses on is the whole musical experience for your child to just learn. So personally, I've compared about 12 method books years ago, and I've landed on measures of success for the purpose of, assessment, music history, music theory, chances to perform in big groups, small groups, like 2 people, 3 people, solos. There's a lot of a variety within this book, and so that's why it is chosen for this program. Then you can see the specific. Obviously, the last 2 pictures are the instruments. They got to get their instruments set. We're going to talk about where you can get the instruments on, I believe, the next slide. Some of the music that Miss Jordan and I might copy would be concert music, region music, jazz band, sight reading music, and chamber music as small groups. Okay. All right, and this is a big one, Miss Jordan. Go ahead.
Okay, how to get an instrument. Option A, and this is strongly recommended, to rent, to own an instrument from a local music vendor by setting up a contract with that vendor, and the shops are shown below. I have actually done the rent to own process through Music and Arts. I now own a clarinet as well as a trombone. And my clarinet was $38 a month until I paid it off, and my trombone was $30 a month until I paid it off. Now those prices may vary now, but you're chunking that total amount instead of paying it all at once. Now, why is this strongly recommended? Because the inventory stock at our school is very limited. We have a very old inventory, and with a few new additions since I've been there since 2015, and even now at that point, those things are starting to see wear and tear and age. Also, when you rent to own, you're going to end up with a better quality instrument. The quality of the instrument is very important, because when your child is dealing with learning the instrument, they're dealing with science. They have physics in their hand. And the sound, what it requires to produce a great sound, starts with the material and the physics behind that instrument. And those instruments that we know are more expensive, they use better materials that produce a better sound. The mathematics is better, and therefore the student has an easier time producing a sound. Now, if you get an instrument off of Amazon and it is of a cheaper level, then it is made from material that may make it more difficult to play. And this is just being very honest. It may be very difficult for their child to produce a sound. Therefore, the instrument becomes more frustrating to play. The instrument, I've even seen this in percussion instruments. Weirdly enough, they may buy a bell kit, and one of the keys is totally out of tune. It is not a note in existence. And so that can also happen with a clarinet or a trumpet or something. So can you go and get those? Yes. Do we understand needing to meet your economic needs? Please discuss those with us, but this is our recommendation. If you are at all able to do the rent to own process, please do it, because the beauty of that as well is getting a better quality instrument, but you also have built-in insurance. All of these companies, for the most part, as long as you're renting with them, if something happens to the instrument, like a screw comes out or something falls off, you go and turn it in, and they're going to fix it. They all have different fixing policies, but as long as you're paying that month to month, you're not going to pay extra on top to get it fixed. It's built in. Now, once you own it, then you'll take over the cost of the repairs. They also, some of them, even like H&H, not only are they dealing with repairs, but they also have insurance, built-in insurance. Now, some will charge you an extra $5 for insurance, but H&H has a loss insurance. They have damage insurance, theft insurance already built into that process. Okay, so that's just better overall. Now, option B, only if absolutely necessary. So what we have designated is the instruments that are in our inventory. We like to give those to the beginners. They've never had an instrument. They've never played an instrument. This is their parents. It's their first time being a part of an organization like this. Therefore, we try to reserve that to them first. First come to them. Um, but once again, the stock is limited and there is a fee included. So because does not belong to myself or Mr. Erlasi, it does not even belong to Maryland PVA. It belongs to HISD. And so that is why, because that instrument is going to need to be cleaned. It's going to be need to, if something happens, if a dent happens, then that has to be repaired. And repair costs, you all can sometimes add up to $400 per one instrument, okay, or go higher depending upon the damage. So that is the option B for school inventory. School-owned processing forms are currently being emailed out for pickup at Maryland PVA, and you can go to our website eventually, and it'll be put on the hub and to see the instrument rental agreement. Okay.
Yeah, these will be communicated. That link will be specifically communicated to students once we have future conversations for that form on the bottom right. But thank you, Ms. Jordan. Well said. And I think that brings us to the end of this presentation, which gets to a very important part, which is your questions. As it says on the bottom, under our emails, and thank you, please allow 48 hours to respond to emails. Generally, we respond in shorter time, obviously due to having a lot of use of technology, as we're always on our computers throughout the day, but just please allow that time for us to respond. Ms. Jordan, do you want to add anything? And I am going to leave off of, actually, I'll leave it here. These are our emails here if you want to take a screenshot, or actually, this is all recorded. So this is on our Maryland website as well. Those are our emails. So go ahead, Ms. Jordan. If you want to say any other words before we go into questions, I'm going to leave off of here.
Before you just start your questions, and I'm looking forward to those, I want to thank you for allowing your student to be a part of our organization. We're so happy and pleased to have them be a part of it, and we welcome you to our family as well. And we look forward to your participation. We want to see your face in the place. We want to see you at these performances. If it is something virtual, we want to see you logged in as well, because you and your child, or your children, are very important and vital to what we do. And please know that we have their best interests at heart. We love your students very much. We consider them family. And so we want to see them thrive.
Also well said. There you go. She speaks so well. All right. And so what we're going to do is, I see that someone already rose their hand. So why don't we, if you do not know how to do that feature, it's on it's the little hand button. So just click on that hand button, and then we can go through your questions. So Darlene, and if you guys are good, if you want to, dismiss yourself, please feel free. You don't have to wipe down your chair or sanitize your area. You guys can, enjoy the rest of the evening. And thank you again so much for coming. If you would like to dismiss yourself. Thank you.